I want to do it, but I just can't make myself. I'm not lazy though. I think I'm just afraid of being visible. Heidi, what do you think about that?
Okay, you're going to laugh right now. This is so on point for this episode. I can figure out how to put my video back on, but you can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Let's see if I can help you.
I'm here. I found it. I found the
All
button.
right. Okay. This has been a week of tech glitches, let me tell you. Oh, I know Mercury retrograde is coming, but it's not here yet. But everything that can break has been.
Like my tooth.
Yeah, like your tooth. It just, I think Spirit is getting us ready for something huge because uh, my computer, I don't know how I went live last week with a guest while my files were downloading for 6 hours to free up space on my computer because it was about to crash. Got that fixed. Now there's other stuff going on. I have these weird notifications and I can't find them anywhere. I don't know where they're coming from. They're not on Google. They're not on Gmail. They're not on Facebook. I can't find where they're coming from. Our 3.5-year-old refrigerator, dead. Bought a new refrigerator. Now, our macerator pump, the pump that pushes our sewage to the city, started firing off its alarm. It's only 3.5 years old. Is
Yeah, while I was
anybody?
on vacation, my car decided to become possessed, and now, like, it just turns the lights on until the batteries are drained. And if it's
I
not the
just
lights it turns on, it'll turn something else on until it drains the battery. I'm like, what?
okay. I just want to know anybody else listening to us right now, or if you're listening to the replay, tell us any weird stuff that's going on with you because there's some weird stuff going on. I hear it everywhere. Everybody is experiencing weird stuff. Heidi was just telling me she was eating a chip in Mexico and broke a tooth.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. Very weird. And, when it rains, it pours sometimes.
That's right. The only thing I could say is right now I am just so thankful I have the resources because as they come in, I am taking care of them.
Well, that is fantastic to hear, Francine. And yeah, I'm figuring it out over here too, but it always helps me to get grounded and be here. I missed us
Yes.
last week. So it's especially nice after all the crazy to be here today with you guys, with you, Francine. And so we're talking a little bit more about the fear of being seen, which, I mean, this is as real as fear of the dark, fear of snakes. It's something lots of people experience all the time.
Well, and let's just explain what this means because I didn't understand it when I first experienced it. When I wrote my first book, I should have been excited and just tell the world about it. But I didn't because, well, honestly, I was afraid somebody was going to read it. Because it, it wasn't that it wasn't a good book and it was a little boring. It was academic and clinical, but it was because they were my raw emotions. They were about me. They were telling my story. And the reason we chose this topic today is because we are asking people to join us in this adventure of writing the book, Believe You Can, people who believe they could and did. If you are suffering from this. I want to call it an identity crisis because, or imposter syndrome, or whatever is keeping you from wanting to be invisible. Or even Heidi said, these feelings were really hard to share at first, but it got easier, didn't it? Can you tell the audience about that experience, Heidi?
Sure. I mean, a lot of my experience with not wanting to be seen at first, I think just came from like when I was a child and you'd get like those teen magazines. And of course, like I loved that all my favorite good looking rock stars and actors could be plastered like all around my bedroom and I could read a little bit more about their lives and stuff like that while I was thinking about becoming a performer. The thought of being in one of those magazines or doing interviews and letting people into my life was kind of terrifying. Like I wanted to do the singing and the performing, but just like I don't want anybody to know who I am. And it took, time growing up, learning how all of this stuff really works, why the two really need to go hand in hand because you could be the greatest musician, artist, author in the world, but if you don't tell anybody about it, it's like a buried hidden treasure and no one's going to find it and no one's going to enjoy it except, well, maybe you. And if that's all that you created this for and you're okay with that, then awesome. But I feel like most of the creatives that I have met, that was not their end intention with their arts. So that meant I needed to figure it out. How do I get past this? Because as much as I wanted to believe that I'm just very introverted and shy, and that's just the way that I am, that's not that was a lie I was telling myself. One of those stories that, yeah, at the time it probably served me, but now I realize, wow, this is an area in my life where I need to grow and learn. So, Francine, I know that you've kind of dealt with not wanting to promote yourself besides just that first book. You learned from that first experience, but then it was approached again. So what do you feel like the second time it was time for you to put yourself out there? Like, did it get easier for you or was it still really difficult the second time? What was your experience with that?
Well, the second time I tried to put myself out there, and here's what a reality that I want to illustrate to everybody. It's not just authors, it's not just singers, it's just not artists. Coaches have the same situation. Therapists. You could be the best therapist or coach in the world, but if no one knows who you are, unless you work for somebody else, you will never sell your services as an entrepreneur. And this started for me when I found I sell doTERRA essential oils because aromatherapy helped me on my change journey. Aromatherapy helped me overcome my nerves and my fear of public speaking. Aromatherapy will help me save my life when my health was failing. But I didn't like promoting myself. I didn't like what I looked like. I thought my voice sounded funny. I always thought maybe I need to learn more. I needed to take another class. I needed to get certified. But all that was was my lying brain telling me that I wasn't enough and I didn't have what it took. And then I discovered what was really holding me back was the root cause of every problem I had in my life, which was my aunt telling me something when I was 8 years old. I had to, and I used essential oils to help do it. I had to dig down to the root cause of why I felt like I wasn't enough, why I felt like I don't want to be out there, why I don't want people to see me. And it was because I was told you'd be a pretty girl if you just lost some weight. And I have learned through my coaching that every single adult has some point in their life, usually between the ages of 7 and 8, where some adult said something that shouldn't have left such a lasting effect on them, but it did. And you might not even remember what that what that comment was or what those words were, but you have to figure that out.
I'm laughing because as I was doing this inner work as well, trying to figure out basically, where does the imposter syndrome come from? Why do I feel like I'm not good enough? And as I was meditating on it, a memory popped up. And I don't know how old I was. It probably was like first or second grade. But the kids were playing kickball. And it looked fun. I wanted to play kickball. I didn't know how to play kickball. I didn't know the rules. But I saw the kids get in line and then, go kick the ball. So I don't know, somehow I found myself on a team and I kicked the ball. And when I kicked it, it was out and the kid caught it. So no matter what, like I was done, right? And they said out, and I didn't know the rules. I didn't know that just meant that like I go to the back of the line and then we switch and all that stuff. I just thought I couldn't play anymore. I'm an only child. Leave me alone. No.
Well, and you know what? Birth order really matters in a lot of this. And being an
Well,
only child,
I was just trying to be accepted by my peers. I hung out with a lot of adults, and it just felt like that was a massive rejection. Like, nope, we don't want to play with you. And, there were other things that happened growing up too that, kids are mean and kind of reinforced some of those ideas. But I know when I was thinking about putting myself out there, this came up. I'm like, the rejection from, no one's watching, no one cares about this, or flat out, someone just says it's really bad. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go through that like emotional pain in exchange to get my music and stuff out there. And so that was something I had to work through.
and how did you work through that?
Wait, what was the question?
How did you work through that? I know you mentioned inner work, you mentioned meditation. Can you give the audience some tools that maybe we offer that could help them work through that?
Maybe that we offer
Maybe
like a
that
portal
we
party.
a portal party, a brainstorming session. We also have the inner child workshop where you can meet your inner child and find your happiest memory.
Hmm. And I mean, getting closer to your inner child and seeing who that was I mean, they're still alive in you, but you might be like, well, that was me in the past, but no, your inner child's still in there. So the first thing that I always tell people is you need to have clarity about what you want. There are so many times I ask people, okay, what do you want? And then they're like, well, I don't know. So we try and narrow it down a little bit more, being specific. And then I start listing certain things off. And like money comes up. I don't know the right people, all of these objections for just a little while as a regular habit. Suspend all of that stuff, put it off to the side, use your imagination. Everything is going to come from your imagination, including those ideas that you're not thinking about right now as you're going, I don't have the money, I don't have the right people to help me. Your imagination is more powerful than any of us adults maybe even realize. I think we knew it when we were kids,
We
which is
do.
why
And,
tapping into your inner child is one of the most important things that you can do to figure out what is it that you really want in your life.
and that is the sixth step of my 6 step process of personal change is to write your new story. Make it elaborate. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Where are you? Who's with you? And write it, read it, rewrite it, reread it. Keep that fresh in your mind. Make it even bigger. Draw pictures. And that sets in your brain what you want. Then all of those ideas in your head, all those lies your brain is telling you, will be overpowered with that beautiful story you're telling yourself. Trust me, see all these dowels in the background? I had all of those negative thoughts. I can't afford it. Nobody's going to buy it. What am I going to do? And then I said, these children's books need a doll to go with them because kids need something physical to hug. Our inner child inside of us needs that huggable little creature. And he's also a great, I've got the word for it. Anyways, he's a
I
camp.
was going to say he's a great listener because he doesn't talk back very often.
He's a great listener. He's also like a camp counselor in the children's books. He's a retreat facilitator in the adult book. And well, he's also my voice of reason. That's the word I was looking for. He's my voice of reason. Because sometimes when I think I'm thinking too big and those lies start popping in my head, what would Sparkle Feathers tell me?
Yeah. And along those lines, that was the other big thing that I changed is I had a process for exactly what you're talking about. First, you got to notice it. And when you notice it, you call it out and say, I see you. I see what you're trying to do here. You're not going to derail me this time. And that's when you can shift and listen to your inner sparkle feathers.
Yes.
And when I talk to my inner sparkle feathers, usually something's feeling very hard and difficult. And so I flip the script around. How can I make this feel easier? And a lot of times it's collaborating with other people. It's asking for help. And those were the two things that made it a lot easier for me to put myself out there.
Well, even getting feedback. When I first started writing that first book, it was supposed to be a little PDF pamphlet that I could give away with the essential oils to show people how I use them. And then I started adding more personal stories. And my coach at that time said, you know what? I think you should run this by an editor. And that's when we found Terry Wells, my fellow Toastmaster Terry Wells, who is our editor for the Believe book. And she, I thought she was going to say, oh, this is horrible. You don't, yeah, this isn't even a book. Just, keep writing that pamphlet. But no, she said, if you expand this and if you change the way you wrote this a little bit, and if you tell the audience what this means, you have a good story. And I said, wow, I guess I can be an author. And then when I took that book because Sparkle Feathers told me to make it fun, that people need to have more fun. People don't need to read clinical academic work. So I took that first book and I turned it into The Butterfly Who Changed Everything.
Ooh, look at that.
And again, I had an editor tell me, no adult is going to want to read this. No adult wants to read a fairy tale. But I held my ground. This was before I met this wasn't Terry. This was with my first publisher. No adult is going to want to read this. And I said, well, then I'll find a new editor because this is how I'm writing this book. Because Sparkle Feathers told me to do it. But Sparkle Feathers, in a lot of ways, is just my inner child telling me to help people have more fun learning how to become the person they want to be. So I did not take no for an answer. I held my ground and I found an editor who saw my vision. So the lesson in this story is if you get negative feedback, it's only one person's opinion. If they don't agree with you, it doesn't mean that you are wrong. It just means you are being challenged. How badly do you want this? How much do you believe in it? Like when I set out to get these sparkle feather dolls made, I had one prototype made just to be fun. And then I was approached by a friend of ours, Sharon. Can't remember her last name now.
Unger.
Sharon Unger, thank you, of Wicked Branding. And she said, I'm going to a big event and I want to see about getting these mass produced. And I thought, I can't afford to do that. But I said, you know what? Let's take the leap. And she found the manufacturer, and the process wasn't easy. But the more I thought, wow, I could do this, the more I needed to do it. And even after he was made, I'm like, it was way more expensive than I thought. Are people really going to pay that much for him? Well, guess what? People are paying for him because I had the vision and I overcame my fear of being seen. And now children have their very own sparkle feather styles as their companion with the books. Their very own huggable, cuddable, when life deals you lemons, like Heidi and I talked about at the beginning, broken tooth, broken refrigerator, broken this, broken that. You could just hug sparkle feathers. Or for the kids, your best friend was mean to you. Or Heidi, she was told that she was out. Oh, she needed sparkle feathers to hug and let her know that no, you're not out of the game. It's just somebody else's turn. We all need to understand that sometimes. We're not out of the game. It's just not our time. But keep working at it because your time is coming.
And, talking more about knowing the rules to the game, a lot of what we're talking about, there is kind of some rules. And also, they don't stay the same. Yes, I'm talking about social media. And I wanted to bring this up because it's another reason to collaborate with other people when you're doing this online content and you're getting yourself visible. First of all, it's really tough to know like all the rules and keep on top of everything that's changing. So if you've got a group of people that you can work with, where everybody's kind of learning their own lessons about stuff and is open to sharing these ideas. We do a lot of that in my mastermind courses that I do. But getting back to our portal parties, which, if you want to book one, you can go to the website scrolling at the bottom of the page there and just reach out to us and we'll book it around whatever time is good for you. And what these brainstorming sessions do is give you a little bit more feedback, but it's great for social media stuff because, you're not always sure, is this hitting the right way? Sometimes you just need to get it from some other creative people to know if you're going down the right path. And also along with that, we have our Believe anthology project coming up, which is going to help you get out there. You're not going to have to do all of this on your own. You're not going to have to work through all of the feels and the emotions that we were talking about in today's episode on your own, because although they're coming from inside of you, you don't have to be the only one that processes and works through this stuff. So there's a little bit of that in this anthology project. There's a little bit of writing, about 1,500 words for your chapter. And then you're going to learn about how does this stuff get published? How does that process work? What's the rules of the game for that? And then we're going to be working on some social media projects together as well. Learning again, what are the rules of the game? How do we play to get the result that we're looking for?
I'm just so excited about this anthology because when you get in a team, and I'm going to call it a team, a community, it starts feeding off of itself. We start feeding off of each other. We start forming collaborations and partnerships. And as one big team, we all boost each other. If you didn't see last week's episode with our publisher, Ken Rashawn, check it out. Find it on YouTube. Because in last week's episode, we announced the Smile channel. That is a community for authors, speakers, and podcast hosts where we come together and we support each other. As authors, we all love reviews. There's a way to get in the review program. You promise to review other people's books, and we promise to review yours. As a speaker, Perfect Publishing, the Smile channel, hosts at least monthly events where you could have a platform as a speaker and be seen by everybody in the community and also be viewed on a very large YouTube platform. As a podcast host, you could find other speakers to be guests and find podcasts that you can be a guest on. Oh, wait, you could also be a guest right here on our show if you join the Believe Anthology. Heidi, you want to talk?
And if you're afraid to talk, we've got the confidence coach queen over here, Francine, with all of her Toastmasters background and confidence coaching. If you're still like, I don't know about all this, come on, come on over. We've got the resources that you need to get outside of your comfort zone.
And it is a 1 year program, but the 1 year doesn't start until we start the publishing process. So if you're an early adopter and you get in before we start the publishing process, you could come in at the reduced rate right now. Because once the publishing process starts, the price has to go up because then we're paying our experts to help us build the best book we can to get our message out to the public.
And that's important because if you're going to grow, you're going to need a team. And that's exactly the direction that we're headed to. Oh, Sue says her story's almost done. Hey,
Yeah.
Sue. All right. So, with all of that being said, if you have any questions about the Believe Retreat, the Believe anthology, um, you can hop over in a Zoom room. I just put the link in there so you can get the Zoom link. We're going to be headed over to our Zoom room immediately after we end this stream. And you can pop in there with us and ask us any questions that you might have about how all these collaborations work. You want to book a portal party? Hop on over. We can take care of that during this time. So hopefully we will see you over there.
And I guess it's that time again, huh?
It's that time again. You know, if you can conceive it, you can believe it, and you can achieve it.
From the head to the heart to the hands. Yes,
Yes, you
you
can.
can.
See you guys